The
Yeah.
lucky cow jumped over the big lake.
Hey everyone, we are live on Professor and Friends. Welcome to the show. Welcome everyone. We appreciate you being here. There's 1,000 places you could be, but you chose to be here, and we are excited that you're here. I have a couple good friends with me tonight that we are going to rock the house with some good information and some good news. Rhino from Rhino Built, thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you for having me.
You bet you. Rhino does specializes in rebuilding cars and building things that you could never even think of. He blows your mind with anything from a Pontiac to a Dodge to a Chevrolet van. He is the man when it comes to rebuilding old cars and trucks and vans and whatever you think. And we also have with us Chris Holloway, the infamous, the outlaw himself. Man,
Yeah.
and the harmonica and the guitar, keeping everybody up, not allowing you to sleep because things go down. Chris, thanks for being here, brother.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. This is fun. I love it. I
You
love it.
bet, having a good time. Well, we are live for the very first time on the More Expo page, so this is really cool. We're really glad that we're able to do this and get out there, tell everybody about the Big Iron Overland Rally that we just got back from, and share a few things about More 22 that's coming up. But before we do that, let's pause for station identification.
I'm Aaron with Switchback Outdoor Safety.
I'm Rhino from Rhino Built Rod and Custom.
Fun, it's Adam at Step 22 Gear.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah from Overland Pioneer.
We're Harley and Jessica of Live Work Wander.
Or you just roll. Jeff with Bad Act Adventure Co.
Porter from Autotronics from West Virginia.
Chris from More Expo.
Jordan from Anderson Overland.
And we're here with the, what is that, Professor?
You're watching our favorite Overland.
Professor and Friends.
Professor and Friends.
Professor and Friend.
Professor and Friends. You're watching the Professor and Friends.
King Professor and Friends.
And you are watching Professor and Friends.
Oh, man, that's always good and fun to get people to do that. I got Rhino to do that for me at Big Iron. We had to try to find about 30 seconds of silence when the bands weren't playing because they moved them up there right beside our rigs, and we were enjoying some good tunes, and we wanted to get out there and do a little video clip. We had to do it a couple times, but hey, we made it work. We made it work.
It was loud.
It was good. It was good. And I hate that we had to move them because of the weather or the frightening times of the weather that was probably coming, never did come. But, you know, I was thankful that it all worked out and the weather was amazing. Had a little rain on Saturday morning, woke up to a little bit of thunderstorms. But, man, let me tell you, the weather was unbelievably awesome.
Fantastic.
It was so good. It was fantastic.
For what it could have been.
Man, let me tell you, what could have been was horrible. You know, with things that could happen out there in Kansas. If you've ever camped in Kansas or been to Kansas, you know the wind is their number one thing. That's like the number one thing that could possibly go wrong in Kansas is strong winds, strong storms. And we get out there and it was just nice and cool, peaceful, just unbelievable. Awesome.
Even the rain that we got Saturday morning was nice. It cooled
was
down. It gave everybody a chance to sleep in, kind of do their own thing at their own camp under their, canopies. And then as soon as that sun cracked, you could tell the vitamin D was flowing and people were just out. It was electric. It was cool.
It was so good.
What was nice is it gave people kind of an opportunity to test out their rain gear too, to see how well it worked. You weren't in a weekend long downpour. You just got that hour or so we got, and you realize, okay, this sucks, or hey, this works pretty well.
Yeah,
that's true.
And if anything, wet, you could dry it out in the sun because the sun was there all day. It was great.
It was so good. Well, I had personally tested out my rain gear at the bonfire rendezvous that we had a weekend or two before that, because it did nothing but rain the Friday that we got there, and everything I had just dried out from that when we got to Kansas, and I knew my stuff was going to work because, man, when you wake up and the bottom of your rooftop tent or ladder is underwater, it's been raining, and you picked out a piss poor spot to set up in.
Just because you're in a rooftop tent doesn't mean you can camp anywhere.
That's right. That's right. Well, Chris, tell us about why Big Iron Overland. Big Iron Overland Rally. Where did this come from? It just came out of nowhere. I mean, we didn't even get over More Expo when you were like, "Hey, let's do something else."
That's where it came from. Man, More Expo 21. Everybody left there. Awesome spirits. The weather didn't stray the true adventurers away, and it was amazing. And when I was leaving there, I had my brother, who everybody met at Big Iron, with me, and we're in the truck, and we're in hazardous road conditions, just inching our way home. And he's like, man, because he doesn't know this. He doesn't know this community like I do, but it was fun to hear from an outside voice. He's like, dude, everybody's just on fire right now. Like, this was so much fun. You got to keep the momentum going. You got to make an event happen for the people that couldn't make it. You got to do more for the vendors. You got to just keep it rolling. And as soon as he said that, I was like, you know what, man, I know the place, and it's totally abstract, but I mean, it's obviously a good place for an event, but it's just abstract in its way of thinking, because it's not in the mountains by a river.
Right.
It's in Southeast Kansas, which is a fantastic spot. But I was like, all right, I know the spot. They got a stage. I've always wanted to have an event that had music and just kind of centric around that. And I really wanted to have an event where everybody's main reason for being there was to fully set up their rig, fully set up all the gear, and actually be able to just sit and enjoy. It's not something we get to do all the time. You go to an event and you unpack everything, and then the next morning you want to go on a trail ride, and it's like pack it all up, or the night before you kind of half set up some stuff. You don't get to play with all your toys and gadgets, and we all know that's a lot of fun to do. It's kind of why we do a lot of this stuff. So it just, man, everything jived and everything fit right. And I called Joe, the manager out at Big Brutus, and I said, hey, I mean, this was like 2 days after More. They were still buzzing from the expo. They said they had a few hundred people stop by.
Wow.
So I called him. I said, hey, we want to do an event. And he just goes, yes, absolutely, 100%. Oh, wait, I got to run it by the board. I can't just say yes. There's a board, and there are 15 people on the board down there. So I said, well, rather than me tell you what to say for how to run it by the board, why don't you just have me come down, and I'll do my elevator pitch in front of the board. And I put this beautiful PowerPoint presentation together and went down there and got to meet everybody. And I kind of, it was cool. Everybody, all the board members were there at the expo, but obviously I didn't get a chance to talk to them. But after this board meeting, I got to kind of wrap with a bunch of them and, talk to old operators and second and third generation family members that worked on this. And I had the board meeting, and then I excused myself and said, I'll meet you guys back at Brutus and send Joe back with either good news or bad news. And when Joe got back from Brutus, it was myself and my parents came down there just to meet with me. And honestly, I didn't know. I don't know if I'm gonna say something stupid, which I do pretty often, or whatever. But they know if they love the idea, if they hated it. And then Joe came back and got out of his truck and came walking up to me and like head hung low, and I was just thinking, all right, I've been told no before. So I can handle it, and we'll figure something out. And he stood up and picked up his hat and he goes, "It's yes." And we all high-fived, and it was like the coolest feeling ever. And it was also like the scariest feeling ever, because then at that point I have 73 days to plan this event. Yeah. Let's go. So that's kind of the little backstory behind it.
That is very cool. That is very cool. Well, we want to get the word out while we're talking about this. We're doing a giveaway, and I want to make sure that everybody knows about it. If you go and you share this that we're giving away Midland Radio, which was the communications sponsor of Big Iron Overland Rally. We're getting an MXT 400. We're giving away a shirt and hat from X Overland and a Weira Tools. I have right here the Weira Tool kit that you will get, and I have right here the MXT 400 sitting right here so everybody can see it. So if you go and you share this live broadcast tonight, you will be entered into a giveaway, and you could win those cool prizes. And if you've already got into the giveaway on our Instagram page, go and share this, and we'll put you some more entries in there. So we want you to have this cool stuff. It's very exciting. I appreciate Weira, Midland, and Artemis Overland for helping us do this giveaway. We want to get as much information out there about Big Iron and about More Expo 2022 as possible. And so go and share that, and we'll be glad to help you get some of this cool stuff.
I love that, Joey. Let me know who wins. I'm throwing in 2 hats. I'll just
2 more Expo hats have just been added to the pot there.
Yeah, nice.
Excellent. I love it. So get out there and share this with all your friends. Put it on your Facebook page, whatever you got to do on your profile, and we will pick a winner, and that winner will be chosen Thursday night on the live show. We'll let everybody know who that is. So Chris, tell us about Big Iron. I want to talk a little bit more about this. I know you've got a screen you can share that you've got some pictures and stuff, and we'll get to that. But I wanted to know, this event was so different than anything that we've ever done as far as an overlanding outdoor event. It was almost like a hybrid between a camping concert and people who have cool rigs going to like a More Expo event, because you had vendors, you had places to eat, you had bands, you have a national monument thing that everybody could tour, a little bit of everything, and you had a big lake where people could kayak. It was so neat. So what made you want to do something so completely different to bring all this entertainment in?
I wanted to throw an event that I would really want to go to. It's funny, whenever I picture planning more Expo, or whenever I picture planning for Big Iron, or even if we're just attending an event, I'm always trying to think of the consumer, number one, the attendee, the consumer, friend, whatever you want to call it. But that is always the main focus of any of the events that I'm planning, or when I go. I don't know. I've always wanted just to make sure people have a good time. And when I came up with this, it was like, why hasn't there been an event with more entertainment and more music and, just things for people to sit there and do and enjoy. We do and believe strongly in the classes and the seminars that happen. Those are great.
And there were some awesome ones.
There were. And, at More Expo 21, there were over 18 hours of courses taught, which at 30 people or 35 people a class, that's a lot of people that get educated, and that's important. And we want that to happen. But I remember going to school, Yeah. I want to go out and get educated, but it's not the most fun thing I'm going to do all day. Yes, it's useful and practical throughout the rest of my life, and it's very important. But when do people just get to sit and listen to a good band play and, let the kids eat a funnel cake and do that? Well, people are doing that stuff. They're going to state fairs and city fairs, and the parents are going to concerts. That's one other reason for this is my wife and I love to go to concerts. But it's only Megan and I that can go. We don't get to bring Rowan to that stuff. It's usually late in the evening, or if you go to a music festival and bring your kid, it's usually kind of not really kid friendly, There's Rockfest up here in Kansas City. I'd never bring my kid to that. There's one at Birds that I've been to and I loved it. I'd never bring my kid there. And it's like, I want a family concert, but I want good music, and I want just people to be able to sit and enjoy. And I love it when, when you go to a wedding and you see the kids out on the dance floor dancing before the adults are have enough courage in them or liquid courage to get out there and dance. It's like that, man. I don't know. There's something about using music to connect people and bring a community together. This following, or what do we call it?
It's a family.
Somebody called it a subculture. I kind of like that. That's a pretty
I've never seen anything like it. I've really never seen anything like it. It's amazing how you can put on something and people just show up out of the woodwork. And Rhino, I was going to ask you, this Big Brutus is in your backyard. I mean, you're close to where Big Brutus is. I know you were so close that you could run home and come back. And so what was your feeling when Chris brought this up or announced it or whatever? Did you think, oh man, this is going to be good, or did you kind of have your doubts? What was your thoughts on it?
Oh, I thought it was going to be awesome. I'm about 35 minutes away, and I've been there numerous times before on like Harley poker runs. We always use that spot as a stop on the run. So I'd never actually been inside Brutus or down to Brutus. It was always just in the parking lot, and you see it, and you're like, yeah, it's really cool. It's pretty big, right on the middle of nowhere. Awesome. When Chris told me he was going to do it, we met out there to set up the miners run, the 100-mile little route. I'm not sure if anybody went and did that. I heard a couple people went and saw the pits and cruised around there. I don't know if they did the whole thing or not. But the first time I walked down there with him, you just can't put into words how big it is. I mean, the tracks are like, what, 9 feet tall, Chris, or something like that? I mean,
7, I think.
7, it's just massive. I mean, you walk down there and you walk inside of it, and Joe took us around and showed us, some of the interior parts of it and stuff and the workings of it. And it's mind blowing how big it is. It's pretty cool.
Well, I've got a picture right here that'll show you about how big it is. You can see the people down there walking around the scoop. And, when I was 3 or 4 miles away when I saw it, and I thought, oh, there it is. There it is. And when you pull in, you really can't take your eyes off of it. And,
right.
And when you're a little ways away, you think, well, I don't know, maybe I thought it might be bigger. And then when you walk down there beside it, it is just mind blowing. And just to think about all that it took just to put this thing together. I mean, how in the world do they even lift one single part of the track to get it hooked to the rest of them? It's mind blowing how big this thing is.
While you have that picture up, the cable reel right there. One of the miners was telling me about how they changed the cable, but see the big circular cable reel right there. That weighs 5 tons.
Wow.
And you have to pull it out when the cable breaks to rethread the cable. The pin weighs 1,000 pounds. And they explained to us they have to do each side every 6 months when it was in operation, because the machine ran 24/7.
Wow.
So imagine having to get a 10,000 pound spool out and trying to line that pin back up whenever.
That's
with 1,000 pound pin.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Blows my mind. And this is something. This thing ran back when we don't have the technology that we have today. I mean, they had to do a lot of it with machines that most of us have probably never even seen before.
When men were men.
Yeah, when men were men, exactly.
Really?
Exactly. It just it was so cool. I think if you ever make the trip out there, you will see what we're talking about. It's worth the trip to get out there.
Oh yeah.
And see this thing. It's so cool that it actually entered into your mind a place that 99% of us have never even heard of. Mm-hmm. And you put on this event out in the middle of Kansas is not really on our radar when we think about overlanding. And here you've opened up a whole new world for a lot of us. And it's just cool how your vision just came to life out here in the middle of nowhere.
And it's fun. I love it.
The strip pits all around there, like I said, are amazing. I've gone out there twice now and just camped out there. It's a cool zone out there that I never knew. Like I said, 30 minutes away from my house even existed until went and did the miners run. So definitely cool.
It's very cool. Well, you talk about the bands, you talk about having the entertainment there. I was completely taken aback and impressed as you ran the gamut of the style of bands that was out there. When I got there, shortly after we got set up, the one-man band started. And I mean, that guy played everything that you could think of. And it just went into a small band, country band, bluegrass band, all the way up to Saturday. We were listening to 80s rock and then some kind of techno, Pink Floyd,
funk, man,
psychedelic funk that was it made the fire burn hot. I mean, it was cool. And so I mean, you run the gamut. You did a great job at putting these bands together. So cool.
I appreciate that. Now I can't take the credit for putting the bands together. I did have a booking agent, and if anybody's been to the first More Expo, you saw Adam Johnston play with the Dirty Strings, a small part of the Dirty Strings. And then the second More Expo, they were playing right there to the entrance of the Artemis experience. Mm-hmm. And that was Adam and then Garrett, the bass player. Adam's been with me on this adventure of promoting shows since day one. And he's always told me, Chris, I just want to come play an event with my full band. Like I enjoy doing these little gigs, a half a day or whatever. But he's like, I want to get in there with my whole band and just knock everybody's socks off. And that was kind of another piece of inspiration for doing this. It's like, I know a guy. So bringing Adam in, and for all 73 days, we were working on back and forth, checking bands out, seeing if we liked them, seeing if they were going to fit the bill, and making sure that we loved them.
Yeah.
And it was like, the ones that we picked were no-brainers. And there were a lot of one, we probably talked to 22 bands, I'll bet. And the ones that didn't work will probably show up next year, the ones that we still liked. So, we can always promise that it'll be amazing musical entertainment every time, and always different. We won't retread. We'll bring some of the good ones back. I'd say if Arkansas wants to come back, they're more than welcome.
Man, they were awesome. They were so cool. It was you had a little something for everybody, and I think that was part of the magicalness of the whole event, because if you were there, I don't know that I've ever seen a more family event than this was. There were kids everywhere. There were dogs running around everywhere. I mean, it was just like, to me, it felt like a family reunion. That's what it felt like to me. It was one of those times where you showed up, you hung out, you sat around the fire, you got to talk to people. You had the classes, but I mean, you always had this background of music, some form of entertainment that was always there, and people were just there enjoying the entertainment. They were visiting with each other. They were checking out each other's rigs and gear and walking around seeing the vendors. The funnel cakes were just everywhere, and so I had to get one. People walk up with a funnel cake and you immediately want one, and so it was awesome. And it just felt like a big family reunion. Everybody was so laid back and just wanted to visit with each other, and people knew, we don't get to see each other very often sometimes, and so the 2 or 3 times a year that we do get together, you want to take advantage of that. And I think this was the perfect opportunity in the perfect setting to be able to do that. And I think that's
how many times I came by the Artemis booth, and you had 5 friends who I knew and 5 other new friends sitting there, and it was cool. And then at night when I came by and you guys had a little fire rolling, there were way more people sitting around that fire than what it was designed for.
It was cool, and we were having a great time. I mean, everybody was just telling lies and making extravagant stories, and we were all just laughing, having a good time, and just enjoying each other's company. It was a perfect setting. Now, Kara, and I want to remind everybody that we are completely interactive here. You post your comments, and I can stick them up on the screen. So if you want to ask Chris some questions about Big Iron, about why he did certain things or anything like that, or if you want to give some suggestions, we will take those. We'll take it all as long as it's clean and friendly. But Kara posts a good question, Chris. So you're saying there's a next year?
I think everybody would be mad at me if there wasn't. Right?
I think you're right. And I wrote an article this week that'll be put in Cindy Pope's magazine, and I threw a story in there because me and Rhino were standing there on Saturday evening, and you came around and you said, "This is cool. We're going to have to do this again." And I thought you hit it on the head. It was so cool.
I think we're probably looking at likely towards the end of May. I'd like to see what everybody's feedback is on Memorial Day weekend. So it's a date that we're looking at. I'd like to see, because I know everybody's got something going on, and that's when people plan trips with their families, and little old me doesn't ever take precedence over that, but we like to try to throw an event that's worth going to. So if you guys would be interested in seeing that happen Memorial Day weekend, we could probably stretch the event out and do a full Friday, a full Saturday, and a full Sunday, and really dig our heels in. Other than that, we might look at like first week of June or something like that. But with more Expo moving dates to April, we may just push Big Iron a couple weeks out, so that way I can at least unload my trailer and reload it again.
That would be I know that would be tough on you, and I know a lot of people travel to more Expo, pushing them pretty close together with April and May events. I know that would be really tough on you. Now, Chad asked, what was your favorite part of the rally?
My favorite part?
Yeah.
My favorite part of the rally was it was raining and the campground was quiet, but I could hear kids laughing. It was early in the morning, 9-ish, 8 or 9, and I unzipped my window of the tent and looked down where the stage is at Big Brutus, and I saw a half a dozen kids splashing in puddles and playing in the rain. And, the parents knew that the kids were down there having fun and there wasn't a worry in sight. And it was like, when I saw that, even if it was going to rain all day, I'll tell you what, there'd be adults down there splashing in the rain. But there was something about that little thing that just set my whole day off, and I knew it was going to be a good day after that. So that's my favorite part. But obviously, I loved it all. I had a waffle dog that was pretty good too. But it
Well, I wanna throw this out there, and you can confirm this, Chris, because I know you were probably one of the last ones to leave. But Michael says you cannot mention the fact that Brutus people didn't have to do any cleanup since we as a community left the place cleaner than anyone ever.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Michael was the last one there,
Awesome.
even after I left. And when Jimmy, one of the board members, he's actually the president or director of the board, after everybody was gone, that's when he decided he was going to go make a lap and pick up trash. And they had a trash can with him, and they were ready to go. And they did 2 laps, he told me, and didn't find a bit of trash. And then Jimmy tells me that he went up to the last person that was there, which I think is Michael, and explained that to him. And they said, boy, you know what? We drove all around and couldn't find a single piece of trash. And that person said, well, you better not. and that was the best thing I could have heard. I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Kara says her favorite part was the auctioneer hugging everybody. He was smitten. Let me pull this picture up, Joey. Hold on. Let me see if I can get to it. I've got a good one here. Kara, you'll like this. Oh, there's a good one of you, Kara, right there. Hold on. You put me on the spot. I should have found.
Well, you said you were pulling it up, so I put it on there.
Yeah, I had it pulled up, but hold on. I think it was at the end of the auction.
Now, while you're pulling that up, tell everybody about the auction and what it was for, and why you decided to do that.
So, Big Brutus is a National Historic Landmark, and it needs to be painted to preserve that status and for it to remain safe so people can go up inside it and enjoy it. Otherwise, you got floors rusting out and it's dangerous. It needs to be painted to be preserved. And I think for about a year, the Big Brutus board and staff were all under the impression that they were going to get a significant grant from the state of Kansas. And about a week before Big Iron, they received a letter and it said that they weren't going to get a penny to go towards painting it. I think that the grant was supposed to be around $50,000. So they didn't get a penny. And Rhino had mentioned earlier in the day that, maybe for future events, we should look at doing an auction, silent auction we talked about. I remember we were over at the anti-gravity booth when we were talking about it.
Yep.
And man, it wasn't long after it just somehow clicked. But Joe, am I pointing the right way on the screen?
Yeah. It's
Joe,
opposite. It's hard to figure it out.
Yeah. He had mentioned to me months ago that he was an auctioneer. And it's funny when you do stuff like this, when people say things and that like, okay, I don't know or need any auctioneers right now, but I'm locking that in here in case I'm going to need it later.
Yeah.
So Joe had mentioned he was an auctioneer, and then Rhino and I talked about it, and I was like, I know what we can do. We didn't really structure a raffle or any kind of giveaway prizes, so let's raise some money and we will bring in a bunch of prizes. So I went and I talked to every vendor that was there, and the donations were just like no problem. Here you go. We love it. We're having so much fun. Like, here's a set of traction boards, anti-gravity with the jump starter kits, or go treads, and just, everybody jumped right in. And we had all this stuff sitting up on the table, and it was like last minute. Like the auction items didn't hit the table that they were supposed to go on until 5 minutes before the auction even took off. So I didn't even know it was up there. And I grabbed Joe and I was like, come on, buddy. And we're going to do this. And the minute that we sold a set of action tracks for $500,
I couldn't believe it. That was so cool.
John Muncie from Long Creek Overland, it set the tone, and people came in and they gave with their hearts, and they didn't care about the wallet because they knew where it was going. So we spent 45 minutes doing this auction.
Yeah.
And in 45 minutes, that picture that's pulled up on the screen right there is my sister, and she's showing Joe. She tallied it all up, and she's showing Joe how much we raised in 45 minutes, and it was $4,940.
Wow.
Yeah, the Zargus case was like a $350 or $400 case that sold for $600. It was incredible. We sold the last Big Iron T-shirt for $150, I think.
Wow.
But so that's my sister showing Joe how much we raised that fast. And then there's look at that. That is
his reaction.
It was cool for all of us to see. It was cool to listen to. Everybody bidding on it and how high the bids were going, because if you live this lifestyle and you are an overlander, you research things, how much things retail for or cost, because it's just one of the things you do. You love gear, and so for people to bid $100 or $200 more than what it was worth, and Matt McClellan offered a guided trip to go out with him for a weekend, and that went for an outrageous amount. And that was just super cool. And to think, and like Kara says, $500. And like Kara says, everything started at $1.
Mm-hmm.
And people were just out there to show up and show out and really bought into this idea that you wanted to help this place out, and it was amazing. It was just amazing.
So
it was all about the community.
It was, and preserving history. Look, if everybody thought it was cool and we want to come have this event again, let's make sure it's there so we can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also gave them a big chunk of the proceeds too. And the check that I was honored to go down and write to them was for $8,563.
Incredible.
That we raised.
That's awesome.
And 100% of that goes to painting Big Brutus. So it wasn't the 50 that the state of Kansas promised and then never delivered on, but is a fifth of it. That's not bad.
Hey, when you've
got closer next year,
it'll be
much
better next year.
Something like that. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps, and it's I'm sure it is it was a true blessing, for them to invite a bunch of people in that they had just met. A lot of them, they had no idea who they were, but for us to come in and not make a mess, to not cause any trouble, and to give back to them in such a humongous way. I can't imagine them being disappointed if we don't come back. So, I know they want us back. And for a place like that to want people to come back, that's rare. That's, most of the time when people leave, you are ready for them to leave. And for them to say, we want y'all to come back, we would love to have you come back, that means a lot, because in today's day and age, I mean, I read today that a lot of the national forests out west are closed because of the way that people left them when they left their campsites. And for us to have the reputation, or for Big Iron to have the reputation with these people that are there that run this place, we want you to come back because you are the kind of people that we want here. That makes everybody feel so good.
They just kept telling me, this is a hell of a lot better than PokeFest.
I think they had the time of their lives. I know I've said it a couple of times already, but every single person that's involved on their board, or like Joe, grounds guys, I mean, everybody, he just had such a great time. I mean, nothing like this happens in Kansas, first off, let alone out there. A lot of those guys are born, raised. And I unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to sit down and talk with the gentleman, but there was a World War II veteran that also worked on Big Brutus that was on site, I think Thursday and Friday, or maybe Wednesday and Thursday when we were setting up. But I didn't have a chance to talk to him. I wish I would have. I'm going to try to contact Joe and go back out there and meet him. But, those, to me personally, those are my idols, World War II veterans. So there's not many of them left around, obviously.
There's a gentleman that was 97 years old that they were bringing around on the golf cart. Him and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
They were bringing around in the golf cart.
Hey, you go, bro. You go.
Yeah. And I got a chance to visit with him real quick, but he had a World War II hat on, so I'd say that was probably him.
Yep.
And what an amazing group they are. But he was just astonished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kara says she thinks Memorial Day weekend's a great weekend. There we go.
Yeah, a lot of people take that weekend for granted and don't remember the people who have given up their lives so that we can live in this free country. And so to have something on that weekend would be pretty special. So I know you'll have positives and negatives for that weekend. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'd like to know. So if anybody has any reasons why or any reasons why not, I'd like to see some messages come through on the Big Iron page. So shoot them over. Sure. Love to hear it.
I want to go through and show some of the pictures from the weekend. It was just a very special time for so many of us. And if you don't think Big Brutus is big, we're parked pretty good ways away, and it takes up the whole picture. And so this is the one that we showed earlier. I love this picture here. You really did a good job of giving everybody a lot of room. where they could spread out. They weren't packed up on top of each other like at a Overland West or something like that. So when people say, well, it didn't look like it was very well attended, I saw that on one or two places. Let me tell you, there was quite a few people there. We had a large area.
Let me interrupt you there. The answer to that is it was extremely well attended because the people that were there made that a good attendance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe we could have packed it and that whole other field just at the top of the screen. No, I'm super happy with the attendance because I love every single attendee that was there. So yes, it was very well attended.
I thought so too. And
it's not always about the number of people. Why they say the quantity, it's about the quality. And I think
it was
absolutely that.
It was something like I had never experienced before. It was super quality time. And I think that picture right there really says it all about how everybody felt while they were there, laid back, just really having a family time. People are going to count this as and put this on their calendar as a vacation. People will want to come here with their families. That's how good it was. It's not going to the beach. It's not going to the mountains. It's something completely different, but you're going to get everything that your family needs at a place like this.
And I can promise everybody that it's definitely not about the numbers, and I'm not going to pack everybody in there like sardine cans. When we announce tickets for sale, they'll likely sell out. Now that we've had people in that field, I probably know that I could fit 50 more comfortably. Before this, I didn't know, but when we sold out, we sold out because I didn't want people to be slammed in, jammed up next to each other, so this was a great test event. We'll probably add 50 more, so that'll put the camping up to 200 rigs, and we'll make sure we do a good job of announcing it, and then that's how we'll bring them in. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody put up on there that we need to have a poll. I think that would be a good thing for Facebook page poll. We could put a few weekends up there and see what everybody would like, and then we can go from there. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Do that. Well, Joey, you and I will get together and look at some dates and see what's available. It's a year out, so we're good for planning on our end, but that'll be good because I want to know. I'd love to make it a true 3-day event by utilizing the Memorial Day weekend, but if people have other stuff that they'd rather do with their families, then I understand that too, and we'll make sure that we make it where people can still attend this.
Yeah, and we're going to make sure that that Mason eats another onion because that was true entertainment. If you didn't get to see that, anytime you can have a full-grown man eat an onion, it is always entertaining. This was a pretty cool moment here. We had a lot of these. This is when the guy bought Matt's weekend package to go out with him.
And he's Alex and Katie right there. And they're friends of Megan and ours. We met them at the first rendezvous we ever attended, which was before More Expo 1 ever happened. And they camped right next to us, and their kids are adorable. And for them to come out and show their support was awesome.
Yeah, super cool. Super cool. Well, I can't tell you enough how much I enjoyed it. And somebody put on here, I can't remember who posted it. Oh, Jonathan Muncie said, out of all the pictures, I never saw anyone not smiling. It was just a fun time for everybody. I haven't heard anything negative out of it. It was a super cool event. Absolutely loved it. So I want to encourage everybody, if you do have ideas about what you'd like to see, Chris has always been one that would be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that you have. So make sure that you contact him via the Facebook or his Facebook or Instagram page. He's always on there, always willing to talk, always open. Chris is one of the guys that really wants to do something good for this area of the country, and you have really opened up overlanding to this part of the country, and it's super cool to see that we actually have quality events that we don't have to drive 1,000 miles to go to. And for that, I'm very appreciative for that.
That's the whole idea behind the whole. Yeah, I mean, that's what started everything. Was, man, I can't travel, and even now that I'm doing this full time, it's like it's hard to travel to these events and do this stuff, and it's hard for others to travel into ours, and I understand that too. So, yeah. I mean, we just needed to make a lily pad, so to speak, in the middle, so that way the bullfrog could bounce, hit,
somewhere to go.
Just
give me somewhere to go. And this was a perfect year following up 2020, because More Expo was the only expo in 2020. And then when you had More Expo in 2021, again, it was the first thing to have happened in a year, because the whole country had been shut down for a year. And so for you to work a year on something, it's special to me how you wanted to give back to those people who, despite the weather, came anyway. The vendors that didn't even know if they were going to be able to get home, but they came anyway. Or the people that came to More Expo had no idea if they were going to be able to get home, but they came anyway. And for you not to just say, man, I've been working my butt off for a year, I need to take a month off. But you didn't even take 2 days off. You went right back to work the very next day, put this event together as a thank you for everybody. And that was what made it super cool for me. That's why there was no way possible I was going to miss this. It was just an unbelievable time for all of us. And I can't say thank you enough. Now, if you missed More Expo 21, we had quite a few things that went on. Moving day was pretty special for all of us. This is how it looked when people were pulling in. It was a whiteout. Everybody was pulling in having to brush off all the snow off their rigs. But let me tell you, people showed up and showed out like I have never seen before. And when we thought, I don't know if there's going to be anybody here or not, everybody just came in and just had an awesome, awesome time. But there's going to be a little change for 2022, and we want to show you what that's going to be. Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Mark your calendars now. April 8th through the 10th, 2022, More 22. How cool is that? How cool is that? Moving it back a couple of months, getting it off of Valentine's Day. That was the only thing that I heard people talking about. Oh, I can't come because it's Valentine's Day. I don't know if I can come because the weather's going to be bad. Everybody knows that Arkansas and Missouri has the worst weather in February. So, hey, Chris did something about it. Chris, we appreciate you moving that back. That's going to be awesome.
And how about we're going to a 3-day show now?
3-day show.
3-day show. That means more exhibitors, more vendors, more people. That means more hours of class time taught, more education, more activations. It's adding
More
that
work.
day.
More work. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. 3
I
days.
love it.
3 days. Cindy,
I think it's great.
more time.
There's really, if you're able to get there and walk around, there's really more that you can see in a day and a half. And, you know, if you do the s'more to more or anything like that, you're not going to have time to see everything, talk to everybody, see all the cool stuff that there is to see. And that gives guys who are working vendor booths a little more time to be able to walk around and see the different things too, because a lot of the times we didn't get to walk around and see anything. More in 2020, I didn't get to walk around at all. We were just packed in there, people just constantly, and so I didn't even get to walk around the first year. Last year, I got to just run through everything and see everything, but more time is always better to be able to see all this. So that is super cool. We are excited about that. We are very excited about the 3 days, but we're very excited about the April event. So what does this change for you, Chris, in planning more Expo? How is this different?
It means that we're bringing in more exhibitors, which means we'll have better financials to create better entertainment. Our exhibitors that we're bringing in are all going to have a focus on enhancing the attendees' experience. That's the fourth cornerstone that we never really mention when we're talking about sponsorships and bringing in attendees. You know, the three cornerstones of More Expo are educate, empower, explore. The fourth one is enhance, and that's a big deal for us. This show isn't for me to attend. I wish I could. One of these days I'll be able to attend it. It's not for the exhibitors to attend. It's for the attendees.
Yeah.
For the people that make it possible. And I mean, you can have a library with a bunch of really boring books in it. Nobody's going to come in and read your books. But when you start putting good stuff in there and making it fun and exciting to see, people come to your library.
Yeah.
And that's the idea behind the whole thing is I want the Midwest community to grow. And I think we're doing it. I think we're doing fantastic.
I think you're doing a great job of it.
We're doing a great job of it. Everybody look at Artemis and Overland Essentials and you know, Overland Addict and Adventure Motors. Like, I mean, that was fun bringing those guys into all into Big Iron as sponsors because they're all Midwest. I mean, like,
right.
We're a community, and bringing it together is just killer. I love it.
Well, I think you know, we talked about earlier about reading books, and it doesn't take long for me to get bored with a book. So you've really got to keep my interest going for me to go, because I'm not a reader by birth. I have to force myself to read things because I am a stimulated kind of guy. I want to be able to see something and watch it move around, but that's got to be hard for you now that you're 2 years in. how am I going to get people that have been here the last 2 years to want to come back, to not see the same things, to want to see something new, to bring something new and exciting? That's got to be probably your biggest job, is making it where people want to come back and making them get out of the mindset of, oh, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, no, we don't do been there, done that. We've changed. We'll always change, and bigger, better, faster, stronger every stinking time. And it's funny. More classes being taught. Kara, don't worry. I won't completely keep Matt busy the entire time, but the Gaia classes is freaking awesome, and everybody loves that.
Yeah.
So yeah, more classes being taught. Some other stuff that we're gonna do is we want to make this thing last the entire week if we can. So we're gonna do a kickoff party, which is yet to be determined. Where it's already determined, but it's yet to be announced. So there's gonna be a big kickoff party, probably Tuesday night, followed by something equally fantastic and awesome on Wednesdays. So I think Tuesday night and Wednesday are going to kind of end up like maybe like a little Big Iron.
Yeah,
a little
that'd
big.
Be cool. That'd be cool.
A little Big Iron could.
We talked about it a little bit before we went on air, and the ideas that you have. People need to stay tuned on the Instagram and the Facebook page. Always something going on. Always wheels turning in Chris's head.
Yeah.
Looking for this, looking for that.
Plan on being there for the whole week. There will be something amazing for the people that can get in there Tuesday night. There will be something outstandishly incredible for the people that are there Wednesday. Thursday, we have a big idea, and I'm excited to announce this one, and I don't have a problem talking about this because I know that I'm going to do it. No, we haven't booked any sponsors yet, and we haven't even set up any following, but we want to spotlight the storytellers. We want to have a gallery for the guys that are out there helping spread the word, and where is everybody getting their information for all this stuff? And we have a group of people to thank on this. And it's the storyteller, it's the YouTubers, it's the photographers, it's the people that have consistent Instagram pages and Facebook pages that we can follow. So we want to follow our direction with that and show them some support.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that by Thursday before the Expo. Will be spotlight on storytellers. And we plan to rent a separate space in Springfield where we hope, as long as COVID restrictions aren't too bad, we'll bring in some global forces, people that are traveling the world and talking about their stories and their adventures and how they document it. Jeff Elkin says, bring Max Powell. I love that guy. Yeah, he's awesome. We want to bring in the people that we watch and the people that we see, and visit with them and have 10 minutes to have a beer and a chat. So that is going to happen, and it's going to be freaking amazing. So plan for that being the Thursday before the show. It'll be its own separate deal. And then you'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to hang out at More Expo. And then you can finally get away from me on Monday.
Yeah, because you're going to be having to turn around and get ready for Big Iron 22. You won't have much time to breathe.
Don't need it. Sure. I'm thriving on this. I love it. If I could do 2 more events this year, I probably would. But you never know.
You put together an event in 2 months, so I'm scared to death. Is what's going through your mind right now. It kind of freaks me out a little bit.
You never know. You might be. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed on all the channels. But you might just all of a sudden see a little pencil drawing of a logo, and then Katie
Boom.
bar the door. Boom.
Katie bar the door. That's for sure.
Oh man. It's funny. I want to give some props to that guy right there, Rhino. I I don't think that Big Iron would get the raving reviews and would have gone as smooth if Rhino didn't jump in feet first as a local support and help me not only with on-site support but with moral support the whole time, and a brilliant mind for doing this kind of stuff. You could tell he's been around these kind of events before. And Rhino, I sincerely appreciate all your help, and Micah and Colby were amazing as well. So them boys are always part of the staff. More Expo as long as they can get out of school, but I know I can get you away. So yeah, welcome to the team, man. Thanks.
Yep. No, my pleasure, man. I appreciate it. And again, the community aspect of it, being new to this whole overlanding world, I guess you guys could call it, or community. I just saw the need I'm not one to sit back and not be part of something. If I see there's a thing I can do or somewhere I can help, I always want to jump in. So thank you for welcoming me. And looking forward to more events and next year stuff.
How does this, Rhino? How does this compare since you've been in the car world for a long time, and I'm sure you've been to a lot of car shows. I know you've been out to the big shows out in Vegas that go on. How do these overlanding events compare to those in from your eyes?
Well, they don't. I mean, that's what's appealing to overlanding world is, like you said, I keep saying community, but it's more like a family event. I haven't ventured off in any of the big, East or West expos yet. But for the little portion of the Midwest that I have, everybody always welcomes you with open arms. Everybody's really cool about it. When you go to some of the bigger, I've been on the top level of the hot rod world for 20 plus years now. So when you go there, you have the TV personalities or the TV show guys or whatever you want to call them. I've been involved with all that stuff, and it's just impersonal. I mean, it's a lot bigger scale. I mean, we go to SEMA every year where there's millions of people from all over the world. And that's kind of funny. I think I explained it to Chris and maybe you too, Joey, but for many years, Brian, one of my main sponsors I go to SEMA with at MB Court, my stereo sponsor, he's been into the overland world for years, and he always brings a vehicle to SEMA every year. We always walk around what they call the Overland Experience. It's a little segment inside SEMA. And for years, I'd walk around with them and just laugh, like, how much more shit can these guys bolt on these vehicles? I mean, it just, and
you became the poster child for him to talk about, didn't you?
More or less, yeah, more or less. And so then with my need with training and working dogs and stuff like that, I wanted to build a vehicle, and I was looking at like ex-police cars with cages in them and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, if we're going to build something, let's just build a van. And it just totally snowballed. I went and met Aaron at Artemis for the first time last year, and just told him, like, I'm an all-in type person. Tell me the cool brands. Tell me what's cool. This is all new to me. I can build anything, but I don't want to build something that isn't cool, right? So he kind of set me on the straight and narrow and told me what was neat and the top brands, and I aligned myself with them and produced what I'm pretty proud of is my van I call Vanna White. So
perfect name.
Yeah.
Perfect
I mean,
name.
it's been fun. So I'm looking forward to doing more and just being involved and enjoying myself at this point. It's something that I'm not used to. It's something that I haven't been doing for 20 years. So it's refreshing and fun for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm glad you like it. You're extremely personable as well. And it's fun to chat with you because you know what? A lot of us overlanders and off-road rig builders are also classic car fanatics and and gearheads. It's funny, in my garage, which is that way. I'm still trying to get my I've got a 66 T-Bird and a 71 F100 that Since I really started getting into building my Jeep and now this Lexus, it's like, man, I am just fighting for a minute to go out there and work on one of those. But once in a while, when I just kind of want to disconnect and shut the brain off and block
Get
out
frustrated.
the
Yeah.
I've got something else I can jump into. But all of us have that, whether you're out and you go fly fishing, or if you race RC cars, or maybe you just sit around your house and smoke pot all day. I don't judge. People might do that, but there's everybody else has got something that they're into. Music. I play a little bit of guitar, which if anybody was blessed with my playing in the bucket,
Oh yeah, many of us were.
Saturday night.
I will say I was very impressed with your brother Paul's harmonica skills.
Yeah, that's impressive, and he's been working very hard on that. You can tell. I've got other things that I've done. My dad's like a killer musician and an amazing guitar player, and that's how he paid for our home and for us kids to go to school and all that stuff.
Very cool.
Through that Red Gibson guitar, I learned a couple riffs, and when I'm high on life like I was after that auction Saturday night, I grab a guitar and I can play like 2 songs, and then after that it's like, somebody please take this from me.
That's awesome. Well, I want to give Rhino some props too. I think he posted this picture of me and him hanging out his van the other day. It looks like we're in deep thought, but I have no idea what we were thinking about. Probably what we were going to eat next. But my comment on his post was, man, it was awesome to get to hang out with you. And people were like, man, he was running around everywhere. I didn't even get to see him for 5 minutes. He was working and hardly ever stopped. And I thought, yeah, I didn't get to see him much either. Maybe first thing in the morning and last thing at night before we went to bed. He was really getting out there and getting with it. And man, you just really take the bull by the horns and take over. I wish I had a picture. When I got my rooftop tent, it wouldn't fit, and we were in the back place at Artemis, and Rhino jumped right in. He and I and Albert, and we took that thing completely apart down to the frame where it would fit. And I don't know if I told you. I'm sure I told you thank you 1,000 times that day, but thank you again, because man, when you see something, you just jump right in there and help, and you have a gift with that. A lot of people would want to run the other way when you see a $3,800 tent being taken apart.
Well, it's not mine at that point.
I was a nervous wreck.
If I can learn something, let's do it. Yeah.
But it was cool. And man, that's so cool to be able to have those memories with you and be able to spend that time with you. That's so cool. But I just want to thank everybody for joining us. We're coming down to the last few minutes here. I want to encourage everybody, get on the websites and go to BigIronOverlandRally.com, see what you can find out about what went on this year, and definitely plan for next year. We're going to put something up about some dates for 2022. Be watching for that. And also go to More Expo, go on there and give them a like on Facebook and Instagram. Rhino is also on Instagram and Facebook at Rhino Built. You can follow him and all the builds that he has going on. Guys, I appreciate you coming on. This was fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Super fun.
Thank you.
We're going to have to do this more often, because you guys are really fun to hang with. And I appreciate everybody going out there, sharing the broadcast, maybe getting a chance to win a Midland radio. Hey, everybody needs some communication. Appreciate you. And more Expo hats and some Weir tools.
We've got these. So these.
He's going to come up with something else.
No. I just wanted to show these off. I'm wearing my Midland shirt, not because it's a comfortable shirt, and also I love Midland. But they gave us these radios to help support the first More Expo. And since then, it's been unbelievable. But Rhino, you can talk about how good these worked. And these are just job site radios.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a problem around that whole facility, did we?
And I was surprised the radio I had, I think, lasted 2.5 days before it finally needed to be charged.
Yeah, never had
It
to
wasn't
charge
used a
it really.
lot, obviously.
That's awesome.
But
It was
different
unbelievable.
note. Just another plug for Midland. I got a set of walkies also. And before we got on, we were talking about me trying to set up this network here at my house and between my shop and stuff. So I had a buddy up in the attic, and I was in all my soffits running all the wires, and we used those for 2 days straight, using a walkie-talkie, talking back and forth instead of trying to yell through the soffits and up into the attic.
Very cool.
So, another use for Midland. I'm sure no one's ever said or needed.
And when the kids start getting wiry and driving you crazy, give them each a walkie-talkie and send them different directions.
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it. Absolutely love it.
Yep.
And that's an awesome way to keep up with your kid. I see more and more of that nowadays, especially at events like Big Iron, kids walking around, and I hear, where are you? Where are you? And now I turn around, this little kid gets on a little Midland radio and said, I'm over here by the Artemis booth.
I love that. I'd rather
It's so cool. I love it.
The old Nextel phones, remember those? Like the first cell phones.
Oh my gosh, the walkie-talkie phones. Those didn't last very long.
Yeah.
Those didn't last very long. Well, hey, we have reached about our time limit, and I want to tell everybody thank you again for joining us. Make sure and visit these guys on their Instagram, Facebook. Go to their websites. You will be seeing them around, and I promise you will not want to miss more 22 and Big Iron 22. I'm the Professor, and these are my friends. Thank you for joining.